On January 7, 2025, in Pune, something was about to happen in the parking lot of WNS Global Services, a BPO company that no passerby could have anticipated. It was evening, a time of peak activity, with the day shift ending and employees leaving for home while the night shift workers were arriving at the office. The footage from the parking lot captures an image that might seem like a street play, attracting a crowd, but the reality is far more horrifying. The scene is not theatrical. It is a chilling testament to a crime. In the footage, a man wearing a white t-shirt, identified as Krishna Satyanarayan Kanogia, is seen next to a woman in a black top, Shubhada Kodare, who is screaming in pain. She cries out because Krishna, holding a sharp knife, has stabbed her multiple times. Blood is gushing from her wounds, and Krishna, unfazed, paces around her with the weapon still in his hand. Despite this gruesome act happening in a crowded area, no one steps forward to stop Krishna or help Shubhada. Instead, people record the scene on their phones. Moments later, something even more shocking is about to unfold. Something that will shake you to your core and leave lingering questions in your mind. Welcome to the show. You are watching the case of Shubhada and Krishna. Shubhada Kodare, a 28-year-old, completed her MBA in 2018 and worked as a senior associate at WNS Global Services, a multinational BPO. According to her LinkedIn profile, she had been working at the Pune office for 6 years. Originally from Chiplan near Ratnagiri, her family later settled in Karad, Satara district, Maharashtra. Her father ran an electrical shop in Karad. Since her job was in Pune, Shubhada lived in Katraj on rent. Krishna Satyanarayan Kanogia, a 30-year-old, also worked at WNS as a junior accountant. He lived in Shivaji Nagar, Pune. Krishna joined the company and became acquainted with Shubhada, which later grew into a friendship. However, after a few months, Krishna left the company, only to rejoin a year later as a senior accountant. Shubhada was Krishna's closest colleague and best friend in the company. One day, a distressed Shubhada approached Krishna, sharing that her father had a severe case of high blood sugar and required surgery. She claimed she lacked the funds for the operation. Out of friendship, Krishna loaned her 205,000. Over the next few months, Shubhada repeatedly borrowed money, citing her father's medical emergencies. Krishna, trusting her, continued to lend her money without questioning her reasons. This cycle went on until the borrowed amount reached nearly 10 lakh. Krishna, however, had his struggles. He suffered from an ophthalmic disorder that required a medical procedure every 2 to 3 years. In June 2024, his eye surgery was due, so he asked Shubhada to return the money. She assured him she would repay it soon, but kept asking for more time, often citing her father's treatment as the reason. Days turned into months, and Krishna grew suspicious as Shubhada showed no signs of repaying the loan. He decided to visit her father, only to discover the truth. Shubhada's father was neither ill nor undergoing any surgery. It became clear to Krishna that Shubhada had been deceiving him all along. This realization filled him with anger and resentment. Consumed by rage and unable to think clearly, Krishna decided to confront Shubhada. On January 7, 2025, around 6:30 p.m., as Shubhada entered the parking lot for her shift, Krishna was waiting for her. Shubhada saw him approaching with a smile. She had no idea that this evening would turn out to be the last evening of her life. Krishna's smile masked intentions far more sinister. Krishna had decided that this would be the last time he'd ask Shubhada about his money. However, her response enraged him. When Shubhada flatly refused to return the money, Krishna lost his temper. Hearing her words, he became furious. In a fit of rage, Krishna took out a cleaver, a large knife he had brought with him, and attacked Shubhada's right elbow repeatedly. She collapsed to the ground instantly. The crowd present at the scene stood watching, mere spectators to the horror unfolding before them. Despite her injuries, Shubhada somehow managed to retrieve her phone and call her father to inform him about the attack. But Krishna snatched the phone from her hand mid-call and spoke to her father, saying, "Now return my money." After this, he threw the cleaver to the ground. It was as if the crowd had been waiting for this moment. They suddenly sprang into action. The same onlookers who had been silent till now turned vigilantes, caught Krishna, and beat him before handing him over to the police. The attack, carried out with a sharp-edged weapon, caused severe damage to multiple nerves in Shubhada's hand. However, the biggest challenge was Shubhada's underlying condition of low blood sugar. By the time the crowd responded and she was admitted to the hospital, excessive bleeding due to a lack of blood clotting had already occurred. The doctors tried their best, but due to severe blood loss, she suffered a cardiac arrest during treatment and passed away. Currently, Shubhada's younger sister, Shubhada Kodare, has filed a complaint at Yerwada police station. Following this, the police arrested Krishna under IPC Section 131 and Sections 4 and 5 of the Arms Act. The police clarified that this case was purely about a financial dispute and had no connection to any romantic relationship. It is still unclear what Shubhada did with the borrowed money. Some rumors on social media claim that she spent the money recklessly and threatened Krishna with false accusations when he asked for repayment. However, the police have not verified these claims, nor has Krishna made any such statement. This case has polarized public opinion. While some justify Krishna's crime, arguing that he was right to take matters into his own hands, others vehemently condemn his actions, stating that no crime can ever be justified. When discussing loans and financial transactions, it's evident that there are two types of people in the world: those who lend money and those who borrow it. Lending in times of need isn't wrong, and borrowing when necessary isn't either. However, the key lies in intent and capacity: the lender's capacity to give and the borrower's intent to repay. One important life lesson I've learned is to lend only as much money as you can afford to lose, and to borrow only what you can repay within a mutually agreed time frame. Many mistakes arise from emotional decision-making during such transactions. Often, lenders overlook their financial situation, while borrowers fail to plan repayment properly, leading to dire consequences. In this case, Krishna should have recognized his limits and stopped lending money early on, especially considering his own impending surgery and medical expenses. But instead, he kept giving, 25,000 here, 50,000 there, without setting boundaries. You started lending money on your own, not just once or twice, but gave away an entire 1 lakh. You were working as an accountant in that same company, so you must have had a clear idea about the pay scale and salaries. Just with common sense, it should have been obvious that giving away such an amount might lead to problems. How would the other person repay such a large sum? Or was the person borrowing the money with no intention of returning it at all? Later, when you found out that the person was emotionally manipulating you to steal your hard-earned money, you decided to take extreme action. But was it right to go to that extent? Seer 1 lakh is indeed a significant amount, but not so much that it justifies taking someone's life. By doing this, you not only ruined their life, but also destroyed your own. No amount of money holds more value than a human life. Shubhada's actions cannot be justified either. Although the exact reason for borrowing the money hasn't come to light, the way she emotionally manipulated her own friend to extract money was undoubtedly wrong. Unfortunately, this financial game ended in a tragic manner. One person lost their life and the other lost their freedom. In most crimes, there are typically two main elements: the victim and the perpetrator. But in this case, there was a third element: the bystander. The crowd of bystanders, as I mentioned earlier, acted like paper tigers. Initially, they stood around watching the drama unfold, doing nothing. Then they pretended to act brave only after the knife was thrown to the ground. However, we can't entirely blame them. Everyone values their own life. People hesitate to intervene, thinking someone else will step up to help, or if no one else is going, why should I? This is a classic example of the bystander effect, a phenomenon where, during a crisis, individuals in a crowd are less likely to offer help because they assume someone else will. This case is not just about a financial dispute, but also about emotional and psychological pressure. Financial transactions can often lead to misunderstandings and trust issues, which can ruin relationships. That's why it's crucial to think carefully, consider your financial health, and learn to say no when necessary. Lending money isn't proof of friendship or a way to maintain relationships. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your love and support.